Well, hey friends, so good to see you here today. We are in the downstairs kitchen in the cheese making mood. We have been making all kinds of cheeses and I am showing you all kinds of different videos and quick tips and tricks and different things. And today I thought I would teach you about brines. So I have worked with a couple of different kinds of brines, and you might see things like an 8% or a 6% brine that I have used in my feta making, or a saturated brine. I've used brines where you use some of the whey for the brine. Some of them use calcium chloride. Some of them use salt. Some of them have vinegar. There's all kinds of different brines that you can use and make. But today I'm going to show you how to make a saturated brine that you can use over and over and over again for all your cheese making needs. Oh, and by the way, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I'm Angela, the inquisitive farm wife. You never know what I'm going to do, what shenanigans I'm going to be up to, and what new mysteries I'm going to be solving. What curiosities I'm going to get into. And we are on a cheese making journey lately, but I do all sorts of things. I do canning, I do freeze drying, I do dehydrating, I do baking, I occasionally get to do a little crafting. I'm a grandma. I love watching those grandbabies and doing things for them. I like to garden. I like to go to farmers markets. I do all sorts of things. So if you're new here, I hope some of that sounds good to you, and you'll push that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if those of you who've been around, good to see you back. I hope that you also have done those things already. And if you haven't, I invite you to join the Farm Wife fam and do that right now. I'll wait. So I was telling you there's all different kinds of brines, correct? So I want to show you that when you use salt a lot in cheese making, one, it adds flavor. Cheese is pretty bland on its own. It needs salt, so don't be scared of it. It also is a great way to ensure that you're killing any of those bad bacteria, and you're going to be able to preserve your cheeses, especially if you're making a hard cheese. Hard cheeses need to age and things like that. You'll see where you'll even rub salt on your cheese, and then you might brine it or even pickle it, some might say, to age it longer or to give it a different texture. There's all sorts of reasons why you use brines, but there's so many different kinds of brines. And New England Cheesemaking Company has an amazing website where I have gotten all sorts of information on brining cheese. And I encourage you to go check that out. There's no reason for me to read this to you and explain it to you any further. You can research on your recipes what brine you need, why you need it, and how to make it. Today, we're going to make a saturated brine to use over and over. The recipes that I've used in the past, I've made a brine each time. Sometimes I reuse them, sometimes I don't. Tends to be that, like, for example, my feta, I have one batch going and then another batch going and another batch going. So I tend to use all those brines for feta. And then I was making some new cheeses this year and thought, I need to just have a regular saturated brine that we'll use for any cheeses. So a saturated brine is going to be a higher content of salt, if that helps explain it. And then we also add a few extra things to keep the brine healthy and to keep it safe to use over and over and over again. As long as you keep it in the refrigerator or your cheese cave, it should last years, maybe even indefinitely. So I have here 1 gallon of water. I'm going to put it on a scale and I'm going to turn it on, and then that way it is zeroed out. There's controversy on using tap water or using bottled water. Non-chlorinated water is probably the best to use. So if you use it out of the tap, just leave it out for a day or two and it's going to, the chlorine will evaporate out of it. I personally have used my tap water with no issues, but I am not telling you what to do or how to do that. So we have zeroed this out. I have myself a 5-pound bag, which I have been using, of a flaked cheese salt. This is my favorite. In the past, many of you have seen me, and still in the future, I'm sure you will too. I have used a pink Himalayan sea salt, which I love. And you can get it in all textures, just like this. And I do enjoy it, but it will leave a pink hue on your cheese. And that can be scary to some people because there is a mold that is pink. And if you are looking for it and you think that's it, you might be confused on whether it was actually just salt or whether or not it's bacteria growing. So I decided to go ahead for the one I'm going to be using multiple times to go ahead and use the typical cheese salt. So we need to add 2¼ pounds of cheese salt to our 1 gallon of water. So that would be 4 ounces. 2 pounds, 4 ounces. Almost a pound. 2 pounds. 1, 2, 3.2, 3.9, and 4. So we have 2¼ pounds of cheese salt in there. Okay, we still have more cheese salt. Lots more cheese we can make. And then I have made them like this a lot, all the time actually. This is always how I did that. I can shut that off, take that off the scale. Now the measurement we are going to use is a tablespoon. I have this, calcium chloride. This is a new to me brand that I ordered off of Amazon. I'll try to remember to put the link. And we need 1 tablespoon of this. This is going to just kind of, how can I explain it? It keeps the texture of your cheese, one, yes, but it also keeps the whey from seeping out of your cheese, because your cheese sometimes can get kind of mushy almost when you put it in a brine without it, and that kind of helps keep it firm. And then vinegar, which I believe is just another thing that you would use to keep from bacteria growing, because if you ever do get like a mold on your cheese that you don't want, you can wash it with a vinegar wash. So I'm just going to use this spoon actually, and I'm going to stir this up. And it is perfectly fine if your salt, it's perfectly fine if after you stir it and you go to use it another time, salt goes to the bottom and it doesn't completely dissolve. That is perfectly fine. I want you to know that that is okay. All we're doing this first time is we are just stirring it up to try to get everything mixed together. And this is it. That's all there is to it. So now you have a gallon of saturated brine for whatever cheese products you'll be making next. A half-gallon glass jar would be, or even a gallon glass jar would be excellent way to store this. But this is slightly over. It's now about 4 liters instead of 4 quarts of brine. And I have a big cheese product that I'm going to be using this for. So I needed a bigger container, and that's why I put it in the plastic today. But many times glass is the preferred choice. Hey, that was it. That was a short video, and I'm so glad that you were here for that. And we will see you next time right here on The Inquisitive Farm Wife. Bye for now.